Alrighty guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to play Akali like a pro in just 10 minutes. A few things have changed since she was recently mini reworked just a few months ago, but almost everything from the Ultimate Akali guide still remains, and if you're looking for a guide on combos, mechanics, and every single matchup in League of Legends Akali versus, every champion, refer to the Ultimate Akali guide down in the description below. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So let's start off with the runes. These are two of the rune pages you can go for depending on the situation. The rune pages I recommend running are either this electrocute build or this conqueror build. Here's how I decide which rune page to take. If I want to go for electrocute, I'm going to be wanting at least 2 to 3 targets that I can reliably use that burst from electrocute to get that pick and make the fight a 4v5 or just assassinate carries in general. However, if the enemy team has a lot of frontline, a lot of CC, maybe they have a Lulu to make it impossible for you to jump into the enemy team anyways, then I like to go for Conquer because it's more sustained damage and you get to go for a tankier build route, which we will be going over in just a moment. Now really quickly before we continue, I do want to talk about fleet footwork. I know every pro uses it, but guys, simply put, pro play and solo queue are not the same thing. You're not going to be playing against people that will poke you out of lane to the point where you need it. Honestly, I don't recommend running fleet footwork unless you're against really hard matchups and you're Diamond 1. Until you're in Super High Elo, all you truly need is a Dorn Shield level 1 in the hard matchups. Alright, I figured for this part I'll just go into a game and show you guys. So, if you're going against any form of poke matchup, you go for the Doran's Ring Potion, level 1 start. Other than that, you go for Doran's Ring and 2 potions. And then past that, since we are talking about the electrocute build, you go Rocket Belt Rush, and then you're always looking to get a Sork Boots pretty early. You might even get it before you finish your Rocket Belt, but then past that, you're almost always going to want to get Zhonya's. Even if they have like more magic damage than physical, it's just such a good item for Akali. And then past that, depending on the situation, maybe you have an extra 350 gold, you can't finish an item. Dark Seal is always a good option to get in the early game or early mid game. But then other than that, you are going to want to look for a Rabadons and a Void Staff, and if they have a lot of magic damage, then you go for a Banshees. Like right here, this is a pretty standard full build for Akali. Other than that, so that's essentially the electrocute build, and if you have any questions about items, let me know in the comments and I'll answer them below. And now we move on to the Conquer build. What you're going to want to do is rush a Rift Maker, prioritizing the AP over the Leeching Leer, because that Omnivamp's not going to do too much for you in the early game, but that extra 40 AP will help you get a lot of kills. So you get that Rift Maker rush. Past that, you are going to want to go for, once again, a early Zhonya's, Sork Boots still, unless they have a lot of CC, then you go Merc Treads, or if they're all AD, you can go for the Ninja Tabbies or Plated Steel Caps. The cool thing about the Conquer build is it's pretty much going to be the same every single time. It's a Rift Maker into Sork Boots, into Zhonya's, and then you go for a Demonic Embrace into Void Staff, Rabadons, or you can even go Rabadon's Void Staff. And you can never go wrong with this build. And now for a quick bonus. If you're going against a full magic team, you're going to go for Merc Treads, a Rift Maker, still get a Zhonya's probably, but then past that you want to get a Banshee, you want to get a Maw of Malmortius, and then finally finish it off with a Spirit Visage. You're literally never going to die if you have this build against a bunch of magic champions. Anyways, versus all AD, we've got Plated Steel Caps, we've got the Rift Maker, of course you still got Zhonya's, you can go for a Dead Man's. I would still like to go for maybe a Rabadon's Void Staff because I feel like you'd be tanky enough with this, but if you want to make sure that there's no chance that they can play the game happily, you can go for a Death Dance and then go for a GA. Akali has hybrid scaling on all of her abilities, so it doesn't matter that she is AD. These are all really good items for Akali. So now that we've got the item build and the runes out of the way, I want to talk about how to play Akali after her mini rework, the one that made her eat all the damage and she got nerfed early game, and basically all that stuff means, to be completely honest with you guys, is that she is no longer the champion that bullies 1 through 5 in almost all matchups. What this means is you're essentially going to be looking to farm up until level 6, but you're now stronger in the mid and late game than before, and if you can land your R plus E combo, which we're going to go over in a little bit, you're essentially going to be getting kills even easier than before, which is pretty hard because it was already so easy. Now for summoner spells. There's a few combos I take depending on the situation. If I'm going against a champion I think I can kill at level 6, then I will almost always run Flash Ignite. It's still very good for obvious reasons. You can engage with it, you can use the Ignite to get kills, you get the point. And now with that in mind, I want to talk about Teleport Ignite. This is something that almost every pro player is using in Korea. I use it sometimes in high elo, but I really don't recommend running it if you're anything less than Diamond 1, because simply put, teams won't set you up as often as they should. In fact, a lot of times you might teleport and they won't even see it. In general, I think for your own practice and for the sake of you winning games in general, Flash Ignite is the more consistent option in most ranks. And now guys, I can't show you everything on how to play Akali in just this video, and if you want to learn how to play Akali really well, combos, mechanics, all that, check the link down below for the Ultimate Akali Guide, but here are a few important things that you should know. The first thing is her engage combo to kill a single target. It's going to be the R1 plus E1. And basically all you have to do for this combo is to R1 from max range and then E in the middle of it. Start spamming E the second you start dashing. So like that. It's one fluid motion. Once you finish that combo, the opportunities are endless. So I'll give you an example of what you can do. And that's going to kill literally any carry. One very important thing I want you to practice in practice tool is your Q flicking. So that's pretty much getting max range on your Q, but not quite max range. You don't want to accidentally mess up by being just out of range. That'll completely destroy your combo. But getting near max range with flicking out and then autoing, same exact thing over and over again. The consistency is key with a champion like Akali, so you definitely don't ever want to mess up. That's the big thing, is never mess up. Next up is something that may not seem important to practice, but it really is. There are certain spots where you can E over walls that are just one specific spot, and then you have to put your mouse in the right spot as well. These are going to save you and help you get kills so often that, you know, it really should be like how I'm doing it now, just complete muscle memory. Guys, if it's not, I'm telling you right now, it's so much more important than you could ever imagine. Another thing to mention for that first combo I showed you is you can actually do it both ways. So you can like fly in and then fly back out by doing it, you know, like that. And you can also go backwards as you saw earlier. There are a few important variations to add to this as well. At the end of your R1 plus E1 combo, you can actually use your Q as well. Something else you can do is actually do this. You can actually use your E, Q, and R at the same exact time because your R has a actual backwards hitbox. You don't have to be on top of them. Like, you can literally just be next to them and you still hit them from behind. Akali is a champion with infinite combos and mechanics, but we go over all the important ones in the Ultimate Akali Guide, and so be sure to check that out after if you're interested. And now guys, I want to briefly go over Akali's early, mid, and late game. So for Akali's early game, after she got that update, she is no longer that lane bully in almost every situation. I highly recommend you guys play aggressive in lane still after her mini rework, but it's not going to be as effective as before. You can still get solo kills, but it's going to be a lot less frequent. But what you're going to want to do is look to farm to the best of your ability until level 6 using all of your spells, and try your best to not get pushed out of lane completely before you hit level 6. Past that, once you're level 6, it is time to have so much fun. You can do so many different things. You can kill the enemy laner by trying to have the minions freeze right outside of your turret. Then you can look to dash onto them and ult them and combo them. You have so much mobility and damage to work with, you can pretty much kill them almost every single time. You're also able to roam around to bot and top lane, invade the enemy jungle. The options are limitless, and one important thing that I really like to do to get fed is to force dragon fights, because Akali's mid-game power is pretty much unmatched even if she's not that fed. So with that in mind, forcing dragons will get the enemy team out of their base, out of their turrets, so they can't hide. If they do hide, then yeah, you get a dragon, then you're one step closer to winning anyways. But if they do try to fight you, you have so much damage to just destroy them. Past that, moving on to late game, you should have had a pretty good mid game, so you have a few items. And what you want to do almost all the time is look to flank around the enemy team and find a good way to engage on carries, if you are running the electrocute build specifically. However, all versions of Akali should be looking to get behind the enemy team. If you can't find a flank, then you want to ult through the front line of the enemy team and then set your shroud in the back line, giving you the opportunity to jump out wherever you see fit. This is going to give you a lot of opportunity to kill whoever, whenever, and the enemy team can't do anything about it because you're invisible. They have to keep fighting your team. And as you get better at Akali and overall game sense for an assassin, you'll realize when you should and when you shouldn't go in. The most important things I'm looking for are what can either reveal me in Shroud or what can stun me before I have the opportunity to get my Shroud off in an ult Shroud engage. Usually it's going to be things like Karma W or Lulu E. Those things reveal you in your Shroud, or it'll just be a point and click CC like Lissandra's ultimate. Having the game sense to making sure you don't ult into your death is crucial, and what you can do if they have too much crowd control or Shroud revealing abilities is let the team fight start, let the enemies use their abilities, and then you jump in right after they use their abilities, because then nothing can stop you. And that's it, guys. What I would recommend past this is, if you haven't already, watch the Ultimate Akali Guide when you have a chance, refer to it for all the matchups, and other than that, as with any champion, watching some of the best in the world can help you out a lot. So I'm also going to link the Akali movie, which is just some of my best games I've played in the past few months. It's very eye-opening, to say the least. And guys, leave a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if you're new, because we're so close to a million. Have a good day. Peace out.